Good morning, children.
Good morning.
What topic had we started yesterday? How many of you remember? Okay, very quickly we did guttation. We remember guttation yesterday? Okay, tell me quickly, what are the three types of wilting?
Incipient, temporary, and permanent wilting.
Okay, name the wilting in which the leaf comes back to its original position.
Temporary wilting.
Temporary wilting.
Okay, the wilting where the process is already started, but you cannot make out. That is?
Incipient.
Okay.
Incipient.
Then we did absorption of water. We divided the entire process into two steps. What were the two steps? First, the water moves from where to where?
Soil to
Soil to roots.
And then root xylem, and then it moves on. Then there are two techniques by which water moves from root hairs to xylem. It reaches from here to here. What are the two techniques?
apoplast and
Apoplast
symplast.
and symplast.
Okay, fine. Which one gives maximum amount of water?
Apoplast.
Apoplast.
Okay. What were these spaces called in the plasma membrane where material moves from one cell to the other in symplast?
Plasmodesmata.
Yes, plasmodesmata.
Plasmodesmata.
We had talked about root pressure last topic. Two conditions are needed for root pressure. What were they?
Absorption of water is more and
Absorption of water
transpiration
is
of
high and transpiration is less.
Okay, fine. Give me two differences between transpiration and guttation. In transpiration, water is
in
lost.
In transpiration, water is lost
water
in
is
form of water vapor, and in guttation,
Yes.
it is lost in form of water liquid.
One difference I've already got. I want the second one also now. Second difference. Guttation and transpiration.
Guttation takes to hydropod, whereas transpiration takes place to stomata.
Very good. Stomatas and hydrosols. So we did about root pressure also. Okay. Now this process of root pressure helps the water to move up the plants. Small plants or big trees?
Small plants.
small plant.
That means water can move up to a few centimeters only. Just keep in mind, when we say root pressure, water can move up to a few centimeters only. That means it is not sufficient for big plants, big trees and all. So we must be having some other technique, no? Okay, conditions for guttation. This part already done with you. See this, root pressure is sufficient only to push up water to a few centimeters in herbaceous plants. So this root pressure is not successful. Now we are going to study what happens in bigger plants, that is transpiration pull. Which is the technique, beta?
Transpiration pull.
Very quickly read this paragraph. Let me explain it to you. Transpiration pull. Read it quickly. Okay, tell me, what did you read? Tell me quickly, what did you read, beta? You read about transpiration pool? What is transpiration? I think everybody knows. Hmm?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this
Yes, ma'am.
force or this pull, which is created by transpiration, can pull water to the topmost part of plants also. That means I'm talking about big trees now. Root pressure is sufficient only for herbaceous plants. But transpiration pull, with the help of transpiration pull, your water can reach the top leaves of the plants also. Then we've defined transpiration. Transpiration is defined as the loss of water in the form of water vapor through which structures? Transpiration takes, yes, so we
Stomata.
have, very good. So this was just a quick revision of the two differences between guttation and transpiration, which I had asked you. It's very clearly written in guttation, water loss is in which form?
Liquid.
Or
Liquid.
liquid? Liquid form. Through structures called?
Hydrothords.
Yeah.
Hydrothords.
Hydrothords.
Yes, and but in transpiration, water loss is in vapor form and it is through stomata. Now be careful. Look from here. Start from here. In dicot plants. Let's study this. Okay, let's do this. Now, you know about stomata, but beta, the shape of stomata is not the same in all types of plants. In monocots and dicots, the stomata shape is different. They are not same. So first we are going to study about dicot plants. Everybody knows what are monocots and dicots? Huh? Dicotyledons and monocotyledon plants, you know now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in dicot plants, you see, yeah, let's talk about the stomata. Stomata are dumbbell shaped. What is the shape? Sorry, bean shaped or kidney shaped? Let me do this first. In dicot plants, I'm taking first, not monocots. You know about guard cells? You know about guard cells?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Now understand a little more about guard cells. See, beta, each stomata is surrounded by two guard cells, which you have studied in class 9th or 10th. They're bean shaped or they're kidney shaped. What do we call these shape as guard cells? What is the shape of the guard cells?
Bean shaped or kidney shaped.
Bean shape. Kidney shape.
Now, this, be very careful about this, that these guard cells have two walls, inner wall and outer walls. There are two walls in the guard cells. There is an inner wall and there is an outer wall. The inner wall is comparatively thicker as compared to the outer wall. So you're talking about the structure of a stomata, the structure, the wall linings of stomata. How many walls are there? How many membranes are there? Walls are there in stomata? How many walls in stomata? Two walls are there, beta. How many
Two
walls are
walls.
there?
Two.
Two walls.
Yes.
Walls.
Now see, which wall is comparatively thicker?
Inner.
Inner.
Inner is thicker. Very good. So what happens is when cells become turgid, I told you the meaning of the word turgid. Tell me, what is turgid? What is turgid and flaccid?
When cells swells up, it is called as turgid. The cells,
When
while
the cell contains water, it is called turgid. And when the cell has lost water, we call it as flaccid. Very good. So whenever the cell is becoming turgid, that means whenever the water is going to enter the cell, remember, whichever membrane is thicker, that will become curved. Whichever membrane is thicker, the outer one is thicker, the outer will become curved. If the inner is thicker, the inner one becomes curved. So we were talking about dicots and we said that they have how many walls, how many membranes, the guard cells?
Two.
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 Outer and
Inner.
Inner.
which one is thicker?
Inner wall.
Inner.
And we also said, as a rule, whenever water is absorbed by the cell, that means whenever a cell will become turgid, one of the walls is going to become curved in shape. So which one will become curved? Thicker one or thinner one?
Thicker.
Thicker one.
Thicker
So
one.
here which one was thicker, inner or outer?
Ma'am, inner wall.
Inner.
Yes. And because of this becoming curved, then the stomata will open. If you see this structure, these are the two guard cells, and if you can see in the middle, this dark structure which I have done, this is the opening, single opening, which is called a stoma. I hope you know the single opening is called what?
Stoma.
Stoma. Okay. So we are talking about stomata, that a singularly stoma surrounded by guard cells. Guard cells have two coverings, the inner one, the outer one. The inner one is thick, outer one is thin. And whichever membrane is thicker will always become curved whenever the cell is going to become turgid, whenever the cell will going to absorb water. See this, I'll show you a little more. See this bit. See, in dicot plants, each stomata has two guard cells, which are bean-shaped or kidney-shaped. Inner wall, this one, the inside one. This is the inner wall, if you see, and this is the inner wall of this one, is thicker, so that when cells are turgid, whichever is thick, it will become curved. And because of this curve opening, see, earlier it was like this, bean-shaped. Now when water has entered, it has become curved. This has also become curved. This has also become curved. So this is opening now. This is your stoma. This is the opening which is called stoma. These are your guard cells. This is your stoma. These guard cells are surrounded by epidermal cells. I've shown 1, 2, 3 over here and 2 over here. Their epidermal cells are called subsidiary cells. What are these cells called?
Subsidiary
Subsidiary
cells.
cells.
So you had this as a stomata, which had two thickenings, this opening, and these epidermal cells which surround the stomata, the guard cells. What are these cells called?
Subsidiary cells.
Subsidiary cells.
And you also have these very thin threads of cellulose. If you can see in the guard cells, these lines, they're very thin threads of cellulose. They're known as cellulosic microfibrils. What are they called?
Cellulosic.
Cellulosic
Cellulosic
microfibril.
microfibril.
Now, they just help in the opening and closing of the stomata. When the guard cell is going to do this, these cellulosic microfibrils are just going to help. Before I proceed and tell you how water enters the stomata and all, the structure part a bit about stomata, everybody should know. Stomata has two linings. One is thicker, one is thinner. The thicker one becomes curved when water enters. Another thing is the stomata is covered or surrounded by cells, epidermal cells. What are these cells called?
Subsidiary cells.
Subsidiary cells.
It also
Subsidiary cells.
has thin structures or thin threads of cellulose, which are known as.
Cellulosic
Cellulosic
microfibril.
microfibrils.
What is the advantage or what is the use of these cellulosic microfibrils? How do they help? Why do we have these microfibrils? They help in the opening and closing of stomata. Okay, how will they help?
Opening and closing of
Opening
stomata.
and closing
Opening
of
and
stomata.
closing of stomata.
Okay, now let's move on to monocots now. In monocots, the guard cells are not kidney or bean shaped, they're dumbbell shaped. I've tried to draw these dumbbells, though not very nicely, but I've just made it a little longer. So in dicots, we had the guard cells as kidney shaped or bean shaped, but in monocots, the guard cells are dumbbell shaped. So, but the same thing happens if you see these are dumbbell shaped. This curve, the inner lining will become curved. You'll have this opening which is called stoma. You'll have these cells surrounding them. What were these cells called in dicots?
Subsidiary cells. Epidermal cells.
Subsidiary cells.
So the presence of subsidiary cells and cellulosic microfibrils is a feature of both monocots and dicots. But there is one structural difference between the guard cells of monocots and dicots. Tell me what difference?
They are
Kidney or
double-shaped.
bean shaped
They are
and they are
kidney shaped
bean
or bean shaped,
double shaped.
but mono.
Yes. In monocots, they are what shaped, Peter?
Dumbbell shaped.
Dumbbell
Dumbbell
shape.
shape.
Whether it is monocots or dicots, both of them are surrounded by these cells, which are known as subsidiary cells. Now, chloroplast is present in the guard cells in both monocots and dicots. Please remember, chloroplast is present in the guard cell, whether it is a monocot or it is a dicot. Similarity you have already told me in monocots and dicots. Both monocot and dicot cells, they have inner membranes a little thicker ones, which become curved when water enters. Second, they are surrounded by cells which are known as, what were these
Subsidiary
cells?
cells.
Subsidiary cells. And they also have microfibrils which help in the opening and closing of stomata. These are the similarities. Differences you have already done with me. The shape part was a little different in monocots and dicots. Does anyone know what is the use of these microfibrils? I already told you. What is the advantage of these subsidiary cells? What do they do? Any idea? No? Chal, never mind. Now try and understand. I'll show you with the help of a figure. Chloroplast is present in guard cells in both monocots and dicots. The opening of the guard cell depends on endosmosis process. Opening will depend upon what?
Endosmosis.
Endosmosis.
Guard cells depends on endosmosis.
Yes. So whenever these guard cells have to open, they take ions from the subsidiary cells. Those cells which surround the guard cells are called subsidiary cells. These subsidiary cells contain sodium and potassium ions in a good amount. So whenever the stomata have to open, what do? They take this, they do the process of endosmosis. Inside, coming in. So whenever they want to open, they're going to take ions. They'll take ions from which cells?
Subsidiary cells.
Subsidiary
Subsidiary.
cells.
Yes. Which ions are taken in?
Sodium
two
and
ions?
Sodium
potassium
and
ions.
potassium.
Yes. So the ions keep going inside till the concentration of ions becomes higher inside compared to the outer one. So the inner medium now becomes hypertonic. Now there are a lot of ions inside. So the inner medium has become hypertonic and the outer medium is hypotonic. We also know that water moves from hypo to hyper. Water always moves from hypo to hyper. And subsidiary cells have now lost the ions. So the subsidiary cells have become hypotonic. So water will start moving from the subsidiary cells to the guard cells, and then they'll swell up, and then the same thing, the inner wall will become curved and the process of opening of stomata will take place. Okay, let's revise this. Opening of stomata. Stomata was surrounded by special epidermal cells which are called as subsidiary cells, which are very rich in which ions?
Sodium and
Sodium and
potassium ions.
potassium ion.
So for opening of stomata, what process will take place? Endosmosis, exosmosis. What will take place?
Endosmosis.
Osmosis.
Which two ions will start moving from subsidiary cells inside the stomata?
Sodium and potassium ions.
Sodium and potassium ions.
Because of which the inner medium will become highly concentrated with these ions. So it becomes hyper or hypo.
Hypertonic.
And subsidiary cells, they have lost the ions.
Hypotonic.
Hypotonic. Water always moves from?
Hypotonic to hypertonic.
Hypotonic to hypotonic.
Yes. When I did osmosis, I told you this is one part you need to always remember. So hypo to hyper. Which one was hypo? Subsidiary or stomatas? Sorry, guard cells.
Guard cells.
So water will move from subsidiary to guard cells or guard cells to subsidiary?
Subsidiary to guard cells.
Subsidiary to guard cells.
So whenever water is being absorbed, which layer will become thicker? Which layer will become curved? Thicker or
Guard
thinner?
cells.
Thicker or thinner, beta?
Thicker.
Thicker one. So the inner layers, the walls are thicker, so they will become curved. And when both of them become curved, we have an opening. That opening opens up, which in singular is called as stomata. And plural, we said it is known as stoma and stomata. So which process was taking place? Endosmosis or exosmosis?
Endosmosis.
Endosmosis.
One of you quickly explain it to me within a minute. How does a stoma open? How does a guard cell help in opening the stoma? Chalo, tell me quickly. Come on, guard cells are surrounded by
Guard cells are
Subsidiary
surrounded.
cells.
Subsidiary
subsidiary
cells.
cells. Subsidiary cells, they contain a lot of which ions?
Sodium and potassium ions.
Sodium and
Sodium and
potassium ions.
potassium ions.
Okay. And now what happens is, which process starts? Exo or endos?
Endosmosis.
Endosmosis.
Osmosis.
Because of which ions start moving?
Sodium and
Sodium.
potassium ions.
From where to where, beta?
Subsidiary cells to
Subsidiary
guard
cells
cells.
to the guard cells.
Guard cells. Okay. Now there's a lot of concentration has increased of these ions in the guard cells. So guard cells have become?
Hypertonic.
Hypertonic.
Yes. And the concentration of these ions is decreased in the subsidiary cells. So the neighboring or the adjacent subsidiary cells have become what medium now?
Hypertonic.
Hypotonic.
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 Very good. Water moves from?
Hypotonic to
Hypotonic to
Tonic to
hypertonic.
hypertonic.
That means the water will move from subsidiary to guard cells or guard cells to subsidiary.
Subsidiary to guard
Subsidiary to
cells.
guard cells.
So as soon as water will enter the guard cells, we said the thicker membrane will become
Curved.
curved. And whenever both the thicker inner membranes are going to become curved, we are going to have that opening which is called as stomata. So always remember, whenever stomata have to open, the process of endosmosis will occur. Which process will take place?
endosmosis.
Endosmosis.
So your cell is becoming turgid or flaccid? Tell me what are you doing? So, turgid or flaccid?
Turgid.
Turgid.
Okay. Chale. Now what has happened? Poor subsidiary cells. They have lost the ions? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
They have lost the ions. Where have the ions gone?
Guard cells.
Good. The subsidiary ions have lost the subsidiary cells have lost the ions. They've already gone to the guard cells now. So you've already told me that your subsidiary cells have become hypotonic now. What have they become? Hypotonic. So water is moving from where? It was moving from subsidiary cells to the guard cells. Can anybody guess what will happen if we have to close the stomata? Very simple. Ions will be pushed back again to which cells?
Ma'am, to subsidiary cells.
Very good. So now the concentration of ions will increase in the subsidiary cells. So the subsidiary cells will become hyper.
Hypertonic.
Hyper.
Hypertonic. And the guard cells have lost the ions. So the guard cells have become hyper or hypo.
Hypotonic.
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 And water always moves from?
Hypotonic to
Hypotonic to
hypertonic.
hypotonic.
That means from guard cells to subsidiary or subsidiary to guard cells.
Guard cells to
Guard cells
subsidiary.
to subsidiary.
So your cell has become turgid or flaccid?
Flaccid.
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 There is, in flaccid condition, there is no water, there is no endosmosis. What is taking place? Which is the process now?
Exhausmosis.
Yes, it is exosmosis. And that curve that we had in the lining will now not be there. So the cells will come back to its original position and your stomatas will close. Now you understood the significance or importance of these subsidiary cells? That is why we did this structure first. That is why we have done the structure of stomata first. Chali, let's do it very quickly. Okay, tell me. Whenever we think about a guard cell and a stomata, we always associate two things with it. Cells surrounding them, epidermal cells which surround the guard cells. What are they called?
Subsidiary cells.
Subsidiary cells.
Subsidiary cells.
And we also have minute threads of cellulose, which give flexibility a bit to them. What are those called as?
Cellulosic
Cellulose
microfibril.
microfibril.
Very good. Please keep in mind that they have subsidiary cells. We've got cellulosic microfibrils. Subsidiary cells are surrounded by sorry, subsidiary cells contain a lot of,
Sodium and potassium ions.
very good, sodium and potassium ions. Now, what happens when the stomata have to open? Which process is going to take place?
Endosmosis.
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 What is going to enter the gut cells? Which ions, beta?
Sodium and
Sodium and
potassium.
Sodium and
ions.
potassium.
Sodium ions and potassium ions. Very good. So which one is hypo and which one is hyper? Quickly. I know it's the first class, so you're a bit sleepy, but still. Which one is hypo, which is hyper?
Subsidiary
Wherever we
cells
have-
are hypotonic and guard cells are hypotonic.
Okay, tell me one thing very clearly now. Opening and closing of stomata, have you all understood or you want me to do it once again with you? Understood or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Pakka?
Yes, ma'am.
Chalo. Just remember
Yes, ma'am.
that we have endosmosis and exosmosis, and always remember that water will move from hypo to hyper. Just remember these 2-3 things and you will never get confused in opening and closing of stomata. See this. To close, ions are pumped back to subsidiary cells. So now the subsidiary cells become hypertonic. So water moves from guard cells to subsidiary cells, margins become closer and your stomach also closes. So this is all about opening and closing of stomata. The only difference is in the shape of the stomata. Let me show it to you once again, though my drawing is not that good that you can make it out simply. See, this is like a bean shaped. This is like a bean shaped. And here, when we go down, these are long ones. These are dumbbell shaped. In monocots, the guard cells are what shaped?
Dumbbell shape.
Dumbbell shape.
Acha, chalo. Let me see how much you've understood. These are guard cells. What are these thread-like structures?
Cellulose
Cellulosic
microfibril.
microfibril.
And what are these epidermal cells which surround the guard cells?
Subsidiary cells.
Subsidiary cell.
Good. Whether it is a monocot or a dicot, always remember guard cells contain
Two membranes.
2 membranes and they also contain chlorophyll, bacha. Okay? And whenever water will go inside, तो कौन सी membrane curve होती है? Thicker वाला या thinner वाला?
Thicker.
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 It's always which membrane which becomes thicker and thinner? You know the difference? Yes? Okay, now I'm going to have a revision today a bit because 2 things are only left now. What is the difference between stoma and stomata?
Stoma is singular, stomata is plural.
Stomata is plural.
Okay, good. Chalo. What are the 3 things which need to be transported in a plant?
Water,
Mineral.
food, and
Water,
minerals.
minerals, and
Food and mineral.
Good. Let me see. Before I move on to translocation, that is last 2 topics left in the chapter. Just I'll not want to complete that topic, so let me take a quick revision of what I've done. That's again a difficult topic, beta. Now, who is this child? Is he in your class? Yugraj? No, na? Chalo.
No, ma'am.
There are 2 kinds of transport in plants. When we talk about distance, chalo jaldi revise karte.
Short distance and long
Short
distance.
distance and long distance.
Okay, good. In short distance, we basically have 2 techniques. What are they?
Diffusion and
diffusion and
cytoplasmic
Diffusion and
cytoplasmic.
cytoplasmic streaming.
Very good. And when we talk about the involvement of energy, whether energy is being used in transport or not, then we had 2 types of again transport. What were they?
Passive
Beta?
and active.
Passive and
Passive and
active
active.
transport.
And passive transport.
Which is the kind of transport where you actually need to spend energy?
Active.
Active transport.
Yes. So if I say what are the 2 types of transport based on the distance, then it is long and short distance transport. And you've already given me the example of diffusion and cytoplasmic streaming. What is cytoplasmic streaming?
Movement of
Movement of
cytoplasm.
Movement of
cytoplasm.
cytoplasm inside
Movement
the
of
cell.
cytoplasm.
And you already know about diffusion also. Chalo, let's go this. This is till the concentration becomes equal. Okay, you remember 100 ions, 50-50 barabar ho gaya tha. So it can move from here to here. Is there any net movement? No, because both of them have become 50-50. But if ATP is involved, beta, then we can take this also. That means we can go against the, what is the word I had used?
Concentration gradient.
Concentration gradient.
Gradient.
Without energy in passive, we cannot go against the concentration gradient. Then we had types of passive processes. The first one was
Diffusion.
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 what was the key word I told you to remember in diffusion? What is
Solute
moving?
particles
Solute
in
particles
equilibrium.
And equilibrium.
Please
Equilibrium.
remember this, that solute and equilibrium. They'll keep moving from high concentration to low concentration. No energy is spent, so it is a passive process. 3 factors: temperature, direct or inverse,
Direct.
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 density,
Inverse.
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 very good, and surface area.
Directly.
Direct.
I gave you an example of surface area. I said that our human lungs, we have the alveolus.
Alveoli.
Yes. How much area?
Alveoli increase 100
How much?
meters per
100.
100 meter. 100 meter.
Very good. It gives you about 100 meters square area. Then there is another factor, that is solubility in
lipids.
lipids. Why? Why do we need solubility in lipids?
Because
Because
plasma
there's a
membrane has
Because
bilayer of
plasma
lipids.
membrane contains lipids layers.
Yes. So any particle which has to enter the plasma membrane has to cross that layer of lipids also. We have a little modified kind of diffusion, which is known as facilitated diffusion. Okay, helped diffusion. Somebody facilitates or somebody helps. And who is this somebody who's going to help diffusion?
Special
Carrier
proteins
proteins.
called carriers.
Carrier proteins. Very good. They are called as carrier proteins. It's a passive movement, so no energy is being involved. Now we have 2 kinds of proteins. Structurally, locational wise, if I talk about those proteins which are located outside the plasma membrane, outer surface of the plasma membrane. What are those proteins called?
Extrinsic proteins.
Extrinsic proteins.
Protein.
Too good. And the ones which are inside, what are they known as?
Intrinsic
Intrinsic
proteins.
proteins.
Intrinsic proteins.
So now we have a diagram. I know it is not very neat, but can you see the layer of lipids towards the inner side of the plasma membrane?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
sir.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
they have to cross this also. So this molecule has to enter. What is the first step the molecule will do? This molecule has to enter
It
now the
will
plasma
bind with the
membrane.
carrier protein.
Yes, it's
Bind
going to
with
bind with the
carrier
carrier
protein.
protein. Can you tell me which one? Extrinsic or intrinsic?
Extrinsic.
Extrinsic.
Okay, it will bind with the extrinsic protein. Then what will the extrinsic protein do?
It will move into the plasma
It
membrane.
will
with the
move into
molecule.
plasma membrane and release the molecule.
Yes, very good. This was your step 1. The molecule to be transported, this one was combined. And now it has come from here to here to here to here, and the molecule has reached the inner side. What is happening to the carrier protein?
It gets back
It
to
will
its original
go to
position.
its original
Yes.
position.
Please remember that this carrier protein is moving. It is moving back from here and it is coming to its original position. No energy is required. So that is why this is called as a passive process. 2 proteins which help in transport. Name them very quickly.
Porins and
Porins
aquaporins.
and
Porins and
aquaporins.
Porins and
aquaporins.
Okay. Porins, they are called porins because they make.
Pores.
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 Okay.
Pores.
You will find porins mainly in the plasma membrane. These kind of proteins are associated or they lie on the outer surface of the plasma membrane of which cell organelles?
Mitochondria,
Mitochondria,
plasmid,
Mitochondria.
bacteria.
Okay. So they are transporting molecules, but we have another kind of structural proteins, carrier proteins, which help in transportation. Second category, what are they called?
Aquaporins.
Aquaporins.
Sometimes a plant needs to even take in water through the plasma membrane. So porin is not going to help. Aquaporins are going to help out. Okay? Aquaporins. So what is the difference between porins and aquaporins?
Aquaporins
Aquaporins
carry water
help in
and
transporting
porins.
water.
Aquaporins only carry water.
Yes, so the aquaporins, we give them another common name. What is another name we give aquaporins?
Water
Water
channels.
channel.
Water channel.
Yes, very good. Called water channels. So porins and aquaporins are going to carry both types of molecules that we have. What are the two types of molecules they'll carry inside the plasma membrane? The ones which have charge, the ones which do not have charge. What is the word I gave?
Polar
Polar
and
and
non-polar.
non-polar.
Good. Give me example of polar structures, polar molecules.
Sodium and
Sodium
ions and
and chlorine.
chlorine ions.
Yes. And example of non-polar ones,
Nucleosides.
Nucleoside.
amino acids, all these. So passive process, I hope it's clear. No energy is required. Because it is just facilitated by proteins. That is why this diffusion is known as which diffusion?
Facilitated
Facilitated diffusion.
Facilitated.
Acha chalo. Now tell me about this. What is happening in this? How many molecules are moving from here to here? A, B, C,
One
D. how many?
molecule.
One
One
molecule.
molecule.
And it is moving in one direction only. So this kind of a transport is known as?
Uniport.
Uniport.
Good. See, this A has to be transported. This is your protein. It is bringing it here. So a protein help in unidirectional transport. It is called uniport. How many things are to be transported here?
Two
Two
molecules.
molecules.
Two.
Both of them are coming in the same direction or different direction?
Same
Same
direction.
direction.
Okay. One protein is only bringing or different proteins are bringing these two molecules?
One protein.
Same protein.
Same
Yes.
protein.
So same protein is transporting two substances, but in which direction? Same direction. What is this process called as?
Symport.
Symport.
Import. Here again, how many things are moving? Two. But are they moving in the same direction or different directions?
Different direction.
Different
Different
direction.
direction.
But remember, it is the molecule, the protein is same only. Two substances to be transported, but A is being transported in different directions. So this is known as which process is this?
Antipode.
Antipode.
Antipode. So your carrier proteins can transfer substances through three techniques. Uniport, tell me.
Unipode, symport, and
Unipode, symport,
Uniport,
and antipode.
symport, and antipode.
Okay, uniport, we know the examples we did. Calcium ions, they move from one neuron to the other neuron. This is uniport. Even in muscle contraction. Symport, sodium ions and glucose together, they enter into the intestine. And antipode, sodium and potassium pump is there in our body, which we'll study very soon. Sodium goes out, potassium comes in. Osmosis, a little confusing one. The difference between diffusion and osmosis, which was the key word here?
Solvent.
solvent molecules.
In diffusion, it was what?
Solute.
Solute.
Very good. Solvent molecules from high concentration to low concentration till it reaches equilibrium. The difference, whether it is diffusion or it is facilitated diffusion, the movement was of solute particles, but in osmosis, it is solvent particles. This was confusing. Dilute solution to concentrated solution. When I say dilute solution, the water is more or it is less?